I got the door locked. I got the blinds down. I need you guys to know that there's gonna be some takes. So let's just right off the bat, just to set the scene. Gabe, Days, this doesn't, my boys, this doesn't surprise you. We're putting a SpongeBob 2004 in S tier just to set the tone. Hey, kick your feet back. Is this a safe place? Okay, we're in a safe place all together. All right. Now let's do it F tier. This is where y'all leading in. Don't lead in, lead back. Okay, I promise this is a safe place. Valley of the Dolls. What are we talking about? This movie sucked. This is in the same like realm as like St. Elmo's Fire, where it's like it's just a whole bunch of hot people doing incorrigibly dumb shit like that. It's just hard to watch. I'm shouting you out, Rob Lowe, aka Billy in St. Elmo's Fire, who sexually assaults his friends, and then his friends go, "Ha, you're so funny." It's the 80s. Yeah, Valley of the Dolls kind of does that, like, you know, it's the 60s, you know, we just do drugs and die. I know Valley of the Dolls was a little bit of a pull. You guys are still feeling on edge. But I'm setting the scene. That's the only F tier I see at the moment. We can all agree, okay? For all 2 of you that's seen Valley of the Dolls and all 1.3 million of you that've seen SpongeBob a Squarepants movie, we can all agree on that? Okay. All right, let's start shaking things up. Let's get fucked up. Let's do some fucked up shit. Let's just get out of the way. I already know you guys are gonna click off when I do this. Punch Drunk Love. Gabe, insert concrete slab dragging noise. I know. Okay, is that okay? I almost want to do C, but it's not that bad. It's pretty good. It's a good character study. You know, I know you guys like throwing that around. It's a good character study. Okay. B's fair. Okay? Can we make some we're gonna be making deals the entire time we watch. This is gonna be like a hostile negotiation, all right? I don't know, man. PTA, I thought when I was younger he was my favorite, but now I've seen one battle after another. I think one battle after another, people would disagree with me on this. It's on the same par as like Megacoculus from Francis Ford. I just don't agree. Anyways, enough about PTA. Let's talk about PTA. Let's do There Will Be Blood. The movie doesn't end. It kind of fizzles out. And a lot of PTA's movies do that. And I'm just not a fan of movies fizzling out. I want you to say something. All right? Not that There Will Be Blood doesn't say something, but you got to finish saying something. Like, depending on the day you ask me, and depending on how much like alcohol's in me, I'd throw this up in S tier. But I think this is a safe C tier. I think that's how I mean, this movie like ends with Sweet Home Alabama playing over rapist and criminals smiling. Like, I think C tier's fair. All right, let's make Gabe happy. Let's throw some Chitty Chitty Bang Bang somewhere. Probably another C tier movie. This is my first Dick Van Dyke movie beyond like him doing a cameo in something where he's like, I'm old and I'm still kicking, like, you know, in like Night at the Museum. This is my first actual Dick Van Dyke movie, and I quite enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. I think it's a little long for what it is, but this is definitely just like a children's movie, and I'm watching it for the first time at 25, so it's gonna be hard to grasp me the way it's probably grasped other people when, you know, the movie came out. But it was still very fun, and hopefully that video will come out soon. All right, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. If you guys haven't seen this, if you guys don't know who these guys are, you guys got to go see it, especially if it's somehow still in theaters. I think it's in like a very few amount at this moment, but if you can somehow catch a screening, do it. But if it's able to rent, you got to rent it. It's a great movie. And if you guys have heard of these guys, you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. I actually think it's in the same realm as like SpongeBob, where it's just like, it's 2 friends who are so dumb that take such a tiny thing like childhood wonder so seriously. It's children dressing as adults. That's what those movies are, and they're so much fun, and it probably says a lot about me that they're my favorites. Next, we got 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This is a fat D tier. I'm so tempted to throw it in F, but at least it's an entertaining movie, but it has a really bad screenplay. It has fantastic performances from Frances McDormand and Sam Rockwell. Just unfortunately, the screenplay isn't up to par, which is super unfortunate, especially because we have Jacob Landry Jones in it, aka Boy on Bike number 2 in No Country for Old Men. It's just a little confusing because Martin McDonagh, the same guy behind Banshees of Inisherin, he made this movie. That Banshees is great if you guys have seen it or haven't seen it. You know, it's a great fucking movie. This is not a great fucking movie. It's disguised as a good movie. It wants to be a Coen brother movie, and it's just not. It's taking all the actors from a Coen brother movie and shitting out of shit. Quote me. Quote me on that. Shitting out of shit. Okay, next up we have Warefare. It's hard to confuse like memorable movies for like, were they good or were they just like traumatizing you? Were they putting all this shock into this movie to make you remember it? And I don't know if that makes a good movie. Not that it's a bad movie. I think it's a lot more shock factor than anything else. I think I'm gonna have to put it in C tier. I don't really think it's much more than that. It doesn't say a lot. It's the same thing with Alex Garland's other movie, Civil War, where it's a lot of shock value. And I don't know if those movies have any more worth than that because they don't say anything about the thing they're shocking you with. They're very political movies that don't say anything political. It's very interesting. Big Time Gambling Mouse. I think that's going to go A tier. That's a good 90-minute movie that somehow feels like a 3-hour movie in the best way. It genuinely, in my opinion, rivals The Godfather. I think it actually tells like a kind of a mob story, aka Yakuza, in such a better runtime. People are gonna kill me for this one. If you've heard of this movie or seen this movie, even just looking at the poster and you've never heard of it, you'll go, there's no way that's an A tier movie. This is my Achilles heel, okay? I understand that. I gotta go B tier. Maybe C. Fuck. The rose-tinted glasses are slipping. Think about it like this. You guys will never trust me if I lead you astray. If I lead with my heart over my brain. I don't know, maybe that's what movie's about though. Maybe you're supposed to lead with your heart. I don't know. My heart says S tier. My brain says C, my heart says S tier. Yeah. I gotta be a good boy. Okay? I gotta eat my vegetables, I gotta do my homework. I gotta put Cirque du Freak in C tier. Especially because I know, you know, if Gabe's watching, he can't message me later and go, what the fuck did you do? I need to be good. I love that this movie from 2009 that's for fucking preteens is tripping me up the most. All right, let's move on. All right, let's start boring some people. Let's go Tarkovsky. Let's go Solaris. Is that A or B? I can't think too much about these, but I also want to think about these. I almost want it to be a struggle. I want it to be as accurate as possible to like what I really think. This is my brain laid out in front of you guys. This is what I think is good. And I have a SpongeBob SquarePants over There Will Be Blood. That says a lot about me, and I'm not changing that. I agree with myself on that one. I think we're gonna put Solaris, my first Tarkovsky movie, my only one so far. I need to go watch. I believe it's called Stalker. I need to go watch more of his movies because Solaris was honestly an excellent movie. It just has a lot of great dialogue. It's beautifully exhausting. It's a lot, but I still want to watch it again for some reason. I really think there's a lot more to absorb in that movie, especially maybe as I get older. I think at 25 I got a lot from it, but I think I could get a lot from it more, you know, at like 45. Old Boy. People would put this as S tier. I can't do that. I don't think I can do S tier. The ending of this movie, it's not, if you've seen this movie, you know the ending. It's not the revealing of that information that I don't like about this movie. It's what the character does with that revealed information. I don't mind having like controversial endings to movies. It's just more of what that character did with that controversial information that I was kind of just really disappointed with. But it still just might be an A tier. It's a really interesting, fun movie. Yeah, it's gonna go A tier. Yeah, Lone Star kind of has the same problem as Old Boy, where we reveal really disgusting information at the end of the movie. And that's not my problem with it. It's what the character does with that disgusting information. That's the problem I have with both of these movies. But Old Boy still shoots up to an A. I think Lone Star is going to be a B. I do really enjoy 95% 5% of this movie. It might be a little long for what it is. The reveal might not be as grand as we were feeling, but it's a movie that tries to say a lot, and most of the time it says a lot pretty perfectly. Especially with like the political structure of Texas and illegal immigrants, and how Mexican Americana culture is really important. Something really interesting about this movie: the guy who made this movie wrote the Temple of Doom script, and he made the Howard the Duck movie. And Howard the Duck movie, I haven't seen it, but it's famously bad. And I see that he has no work after that movie. He got to direct that movie, and they said, never again are we letting you touch IP. And I feel bad for him. I hope he got away with enough money. I hope he got set up for life after making fucking, 3 movies. This movie itself, weirdly, I could see how Temple of Doom came from the guy who wrote Messiah of Evil. But Messiah of Evil's not very good, but Temple of Doom is. That might not make sense. That might be contradictory, but if you see both, you can understand what I'm saying. We're going to put See How They Run in C tier. This movie's kind of like an average whodunit. I personally like Knives Out better. I don't like Glass Onion that much, and I feel like this movie is kind of at the same quality of Glass Onion, if that makes any sense. Problem with See How They Run, it just thinks it's smarter than it is. It's not that smart. It's still entertaining. It's just not as good as I thought it was going to be with, people like Saoirse Ronan and Sam Rockwell. I thought it was going to be amazing, and it was just okay. Okay, let's put Hellboy 1 in C tier and Hellboy 2 in B tier. That's not a crazy take. I think people would agree with me on that. Hellboy 1 and 2 kind of have like the same like reference as like Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, in my opinion. Like they have these like stupid, will they or won't they, love triangles that are like very annoying, that you're like, why is this at the heart of my like superhero movies or high fantasy movies? But they just are. That was just like a very early 2000s thing, I guess. And that is a very big stamp on these movies. If I was going to rewatch them, I don't know if I would rewatch Hellboy and Hellboy 2. I think I would just rewatch Hellboy 2. I think I get enough from that one. Speaking of Hellboy, we're going to put Hell of a Summer in C tier. This is a really fun movie from Finn Wolfhard, aka Mike from Stranger Things, and his friend Billy Burke. You can tell everybody in this movie is just having fun, trying to be as funny as possible. I love it. It's kind of like a shitty Eli Roth slasher flick mixed with like an Akiva Schaffer movie like The Naked Gun. It's like, it's not the best thing ever, but it's very enjoyable, and that's why we're gonna put it in C tier. All right, this next one's gonna be controversial. I'm putting a 2001 A Space Odyssey in D tier. I know. I fully agree with you. It is a beautiful spectacle. It is a marvel. It's insane that a movie of this caliber came out in 1968. But man, does this movie waste your fucking time? Does this movie hold shots longer than they need to? The first 3 minutes of this movie is a black screen, by the way, that just plays loud grating music. Okay, I'm actually going to make a correction. As I'm doing this, Hellboy 2 looks so silly next to Lone Star and Punch Drunk Love. I think it's going to go on the same playing field as the other Hellboy one. It is marginally better than one. But it's just marginally. I think it is like C&5. I don't know. Has anybody ever said C&5? Speaking of C and average, holy shit, is The Running Man a D? I think it's like a C movie when you watch it, but then when you think about it in memory, it's a D. Like, it's a lot of colorful, flashy visuals, but it really just culminates to like nothing. I'm so sad. I hope Edgar Wright locks in it does a better one next time. It just isn't that great. Glenn Powell, though, he did a great performance. He is the best part of that movie. He was just way hungrier to make a better movie than Edgar Wright was, unfortunately. I can't believe I have a movie from 1945 on here. Hitler, I think, was still kicking when this movie came out, or at the very least was while it was being made. He was in the bunker while this movie was being produced. I think we're gonna throw this in A tier. This was a really fun movie. This was a movie that surprised me that like movies can feel that modern from that era. But honestly, if they re-release it in like 4K, they upgrade that film, baby. If they resurrect it, it can be just as good. All right, I don't want to do it, but let's tackle Sean Baker. This is the same thing with like PTA. I'm scared to talk about Sean Baker without like getting shot. Like I have to look behind me in my room while I'm while I'm talking about these movies. Anora's D tier, man. It has such a great, unique idea, but it's an idea that isn't worth being told in that long of a runtime. I think this movie actually is worse because of its guerrilla style filmmaking. I have the same problems with One Battle After Another, where I feel like the movie would just benefit from a lot more focus, maybe actually following a script instead of just like improvising like half of the movie. The movie is at its best in the beginning and the end, and then there's like 30-40 minutes in the middle that is just dog shit. Now, another Sean Baker movie that also does guerrilla style filmmaking is Takeout, and I'm gonna put this in C tier. It's a lot better than Anora, in my opinion. I think some people, a lot of people would actually disagree with me. I simply think it's better because the guerrilla style filmmaking just makes way more sense at a $3,000 budget, versus Anora, which I think had like a $6 million budget, where it's like, why are we improving at that big of a scale comparatively? Takeout steals shots. There's so many real people of New York that are in that movie. They just film in a restaurant during real working hours. A lot of those people in that movie are not actors. They are just real people ordering food. It's very interesting. I don't mean to hurt anybody's hearts here, but this is going in D tier, just because this is actually 3 Japanese featurettes stitched together, and then Americans just made up their own dubbing over it. It is not a translation of those original movies. They just made up their own shit. They recontextualized everything.
I made beef jerky shakes. Would you like a glass of potato juice, Izzy? Great. Kids, I made your favorite, liver sticks.
I'm gonna put the movie from 1947, aka Ride the Pink Horse, the movie with brown face, in D tier. It is still better than Valley of the Dolls. City of Ember. Dude, this is in the same vein as Cirque du Freak, where it's just a preteen movie that just got its claws in me. It's probably, man, on a certain day, catch me putting this in S tier, but I gotta be good. I gotta be a good boy. You know, people are watching me. I gotta put this in C tier. I want to make it higher. I find this movie a lot of fun, but it's not the best. Especially, I don't think Letterboxd thinks it's the best. Up next, we got Perfect Blue. I think I'll put this in A tier. This is another movie that is like near perfect, could be 5 stars if the director just like tore out his eyeballs for 2 seconds. Up next, we got Love and Basketball. This is a movie that surprised myself just because I'm not really a big romance guy and I'm not a big sports guy, and a romantic sports comedy movie doesn't really seem like that would be my bag. But man, was this specific tone my bag. They did such a great job. It's such a great love story. It's like borderline an epic. It's really good and I recommend it. I was actually genuinely surprised on Letterboxd by the amount of people that have rated it. I think a lot more people should watch this movie. And I hope at least one person watching this goes and checks it out. Make sure you got a rubber band under your jaw at the top of your head to keep that mouth closed. I'm putting Valerian at C, and I'm saying this movie is better than The Fifth Element. I know. Same director. You probably haven't even heard of Valerian or even seen of Valerian, but you've definitely heard of Fifth Element and probably have seen Fifth Element. Valerian's better. I'm sorry. I know Letterboxd disagrees with me. This is one of those things where I'm pulling that I'm right, you're wrong card, and you just have to fucking trust me on this one. This has a better story. It has lovely visuals. I think it's, superbly underrated. It also doesn't have Bruce Willis trying to kiss a girl while she's sleeping. That's a pretty awesome thing that they did in Valerian. They decided not to add something like that. Up next, we got Mona Lisa. This is a movie I watched purely just because Bob Hoskins was in it, and the only other movie I saw of his was Super Mario Brothers, and I needed to rectify that. That is why I bought this movie. I was like, I need to see more of your work. I feel bad that I've only seen this movie. I haven't even seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I was like, this can't be the only thing I've seen of it. And so now I've seen Mona Lisa, and I'm glad I watched it. It's a really good movie. We're going to put that in B tier, I think. Now, this is a movie that none of you guys have probably seen, but I have to recommend it to high heaven because I can count the amount of movies I've cried during on one hand, and this is one of those movies. And I was genuinely surprised by that because It's the first Spanish-speaking movie I've ever seen, and it's also the oldest movie at the time I ever saw, which is 1951. How can a movie from 1951 make a 25-year-old cry? Up next, we got Umbrellas of Cherbourg. This is a blind buy from the Criterion Closet. I just like the cover, much like the Tijuana Brass album that everyone bought back in the day. It just looked good. I didn't read the back. I tricked myself. I did not realize it was a French musical. I got scared once I found that out, and I'm glad that I still watched it because it is the best romance movie that I've ever seen. I'm gonna scare some people. This movie's gonna have to go D tier. I'm sorry. I'm glad that nothing I can say can take this movie down. You made your millions. This movie was a success. I'm glad people loved it. I can't take that away from you. But personally, this movie's just a little too long for what it is. Man, was it enjoyable? I'm not going to take that away from you. I had fun. I just don't know if I'm ever going to rewatch it again. I can't believe we finally ranked them all. My voice is gone. I don't know if you guys can tell. It sounds way different from like the beginning of the video. I feel sick. I've been talking for 2 hours about movies. I watched too many movies this month, man. I think it was like 35, 36 movies. But I'm glad it's over. I hope you guys follow me on Letterboxd. Goodbye.